by Matex Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
Satellite radar picture tonight showing a couple of sprinkles that were trying to make their way in out across the west, closer to Jacksonville. But we're going to watch this complex of showering thunderstorm activity eventually make it into parts of central Illinois early tomorrow morning. And I think that's going to be when many of you are heading into work and school. Temperatures tonight are really comfortable. Nice night, 64 already in Champaign and Danville. We'll be in the lower 60s to begin the day with, again, some isolated storms early on. I think by the afternoon, things are going to clear out. We'll come back, talk about the potential for some strong to severe weather as well. WCIA 3 News starts right now.
Now from WCIA 3 News.
It's not neo-Nazi skinheads as much as it is innocuous-sounding podcasters and YouTubers.
Some say spotting white nationalism isn't as easy as looking for symbols, how they're teaching others what to look for in schools.
It's emotional, like being involved in those sorts of things.
It's a scenario teachers hope never happens, but they have to prepare for anyway. How active shooter training is taking its toll.
The numbers of shooting incidents are alarming to us.
And that number is up from last year. What officials are doing about it.
You're watching your local news leader. This is WCIA 3 News at 10.
They're vulnerable to recruitment by extremist groups. So if we're not talking to them about it, someone else is going to.
One teacher came to Central Illinois tonight to sound the alarm on white nationalism in schools. Good evening, I'm Paul Cicchini.
And I'm Jessica Coons. A teacher from Chicago spoke in Champaign about how white nationalists are indoctrinating children and the signs to look for. She says in 2019, it's not necessarily t-shirts with swastikas or other hate symbols. It's podcasts, YouTube, and other shady websites. WCIA 3's Jen Lask went to the workshop tonight. She's in our newsroom. Jen, how long has this discussion been in the works?
Organizers told me they had been working on this event for a couple of months, but in the wake of the recent mass shootings in El Paso and Dayton, it's become even more urgent.
White nationalist extremism doesn't look or recruit the way it used to.
That's why Nora Flanagan wants to make sure teachers and parents know how to look for the signs in 2019.
It's not neo-Nazi skinheads as much as it is innocuous-sounding podcasters and YouTubers and organizations that are rooted more in patriotism or that mock sensitivity.
Her least favorite phrase she's heard, "We were kidding."
That was actually the response at a school recently when kids made jokes about putting a Jewish kid in the oven. They were kidding. It's fine.
But it's not fine, and it's that kind of point of entry that Flanagan's worried about.
I think about the kid who did it, and I wonder what's going on. But I also think about every kid who saw it, and then every kid who heard about it, because by the time one adult hears that something has happened at a school, at least half the student body knows.
Many people at the workshop were teachers like Ann Quackenbush who are worried hateful ideology could be seeping into their schools.
I feel like teaching 10 and 11-year-olds, maybe that's a point when they're more active on social media that they might become exposed to some things that maybe they don't understand is white nationalist.
Sinai Temple's Rabbi Alan Cook, echoing the words of the Rodgers and Hammerstein song, "You've got to be carefully taught."
You've got to be taught before it's too late, before you are 6 or 7 or 8, to hate all the people your relatives hate. You've got to be carefully taught. And that's a satirical song, but it has a kernel of truth in it.
Organizer Terry Maher says that message must be heard loud and clear.
We certainly want to make sure that Champaign-Urbana doesn't become the next name in the long line after, Charlottesville and Pittsburgh and Poway and Gilroy and El Paso. We don't want that to happen in Champaign-Urbana.
Flanagan says she thinks in some ways kids in Champaign-Urbana could be targeted by white nationalists because this is such a diverse community. As of the 2016 census, immigrants make up nearly 12% of the population in Champaign County. Back to you.
All right, Jen, thanks so much. Now, the Southern Poverty Law Center tracks all of this, and that group says it counted 31 hate groups in Illinois last year, including one in Danville. Overall, it counted 1,020 across the U.S. The group has seen a 30% increase in hate groups between 2015 and 2019. Community leaders continue to fight against gun violence in Champaign. 4 people were shot this week and shots were fired last night. Taking a look at the numbers here, there have been 56 shooting incidents so far this year. That's compared to 41 from this time last year. Police identify shooting incidents as confirmed discharge of a gun. That could range from finding a bullet casing in the street to property damage or someone getting hurt.
We're putting a lot of resources and a lot of focus on addressing our community gun violence. It lets us know we have our work in front of us and a great deal of work to continue doing. We have a number of organizations working closely with law enforcement to address these shooting incidents. We're going to keep working to get in front of it, though. This is not something that we're going to accept or normalize.
Here's a comparison of shooting incidents from the past 5 years between January and August. In 2015, there were 50, 2016, 53, 2017, 37. Last year, there were 41. And again, as of now, this year, there have been 56 shooting incidents in Champaign. Speaking of gun violence, teachers across the state are going through active shooter training before school starts.
Yeah, but for some, the experience of physically simulating someone shooting at them has been traumatizing. WCIA 3's Jennifer Jensen is here. So, Jennifer, what did teachers in Champaign have to say?
Paul, I talked to several teachers today. Some were visibly emotionally upset that they have to prepare to face violence head on. Others say this training empowered them in a way nothing else has before.
It gets you in the mindset of there's someone in here with a gun, and again, not something that you expect or anticipate when you're walking into your job.
Before teachers like Mariah Ward start the first day of school, they're put through active shooter training. They're shown statistics on school shootings and what happens when people aren't prepared or when they fight back. They also have to practice shooter simulations where a gunman fires at them.
It made me not want to be there. Seeing my coworkers upset is not something that...
Tears fill her eyes as she thinks about the reality of preparing for the possibility of facing life or death.
Not something that I anticipated would be part of my job.
For Ward, this training is traumatizing and emotionally draining, but she and other teachers also recognize its importance.
The reality is not doing any kind of training or drill is not smart, because there has to be some kind of preparation.
I think it's vital. I think, and I understand that it is traumatizing for some people, and I don't have the answer to that. But just like we train for fire drills, we need to train for this because it is a reality, sadly.
Central High School teacher Carolyn Cotis has a different point of view after the training.
For me, the idea of doing something is empowering. The idea that I don't just have to wait to be shot.
But she says the reason behind why this training is necessary is what makes them so upset.
It's horrifying that the one place where kids should be able to feel safe, they can't.
Ward says despite what they have to go through, there's one reason why she continues to do her job.
If teachers weren't committed or invested in their kids, right, people would have quit after that training because they're like, this is not what I signed up for. It's not what I signed up for, but I love my students and I'm committed to them.
I also talked to the vice president of the Champaign Federation of Teachers. He said he wants to see the school district focus on proactive prevention in addition to preparing to how to react in a school shooting. Some suggestions were better building security and mental health services. Back to you.
It's good to know that they are in it for the long haul, no matter what's thrown at them. Jennifer, thanks. Well, students are now required to go through active shooter training in school starting this year. Has to be done no later than 90 days after the first day of school. Champaign officials say kids won't be put through the same simulations as teachers. A date hasn't been set, but parents will be notified in advance. Education leaders say the teacher shortage in Illinois is a crisis. Last year, around 1,400 teaching positions were not filled. The director of the Illinois Association of Regional Superintendents of Schools says he's concerned it's going to get worse.
If you were to multiply that by an average class size of 25, you're talking about thousands, hundreds of thousands of kids that were not served. Each year that our organization has done a research study, each year it's gotten significantly worse.
A study shows in central Illinois, school districts in Douglas and DeWitt counties are suffering the most.
New for you tonight, the Savoy Fire Department celebrated the retirement of Chief Mike Forrest tonight. He led the department for more than 30 years. People from several fire and police departments in central Illinois showed up to thank Forrest for his leadership and service. He was presented with a helmet and plaques. At the end of the ceremony, the department also surprised him with a bench in his honor.
It's certainly an important event, and it's one that we're excited about, but yet you're sad to see a chief retire.
Members of the fire department are now working with village leaders to choose a new permanent replacement. More than 900 people applied for affordable housing at Bristol Place in Champaign. Problem is, the Housing Authority says only 90 homes are available. The wait list to live at Bristol Place was open for 1 day this month. Homes are expected to be finished in October, but the Housing Authority says they aren't the only houses being built in Champaign. Haven at Marketplace is expected to be done in about a year.
It's all fun and games at the fair until someone gets thrown out. What organizers are warning about that could get you banned.
Plus, he's the longest-serving Secretary of State in Illinois' history, but is he deciding to call it quits?
And Illinois' first football game is 2 weeks away, but one standout is already hurt. We'll tell you who's using crutches.